everybody. Kenzie and I are back in Ohio. We just got back from a 13-day trip to Scotland. So we're going to make a series of vlogs going over our trip and showing you guys what we did. Let's get to it. In this first part, we're going to go over first 4 days of our journey, starting from flying in, going up to Perth, going around the Cairngorms National Park, stopping in Inverness, staying at Carbridge, and also Loch Ness. So hope you guys enjoy. Make sure you subscribe and be sure to check us out at runningendurance.com. Let's get to it. So it was a day, just like today. And we were planning out our summer trip, vacation plans, and Kenji suggested going to Scotland. And I said, you know what? Let's try it out. I'm up for the adventure. I didn't really know much about Scotland before going, but I'm glad I did. We learned a lot of stuff and saw a lot of things. The only problem was I was going to be out in Death Valley helping my buddy do this crazy race. That's kind of another story. So logistically, it was kind of tough getting there. I actually had to meet Kenzie in Toronto and connect with a flight from her. She was leaving from Cincinnati, and we connected there and made it into Scotland the next day. So it was a long journey for us. But the first thing we did is we went to the rental car place, which you have never been to Scotland. It's pretty easy to get a bus to go pretty much anywhere, right from the airport. And if you don't know, they drive on the other side of the road there, if you're from America, and you're sitting on the other side of the car. So what is our passenger seat is their driver's seat. So that took some getting used to as well. We really didn't do much in Edinburgh, where we flew in, when we got the car, because our first night we were staying in Perth. Perth is a city of about 50,000 people, and it's really well known because it is right along the River Tay, which is Scotland's longest river. And it's really close to the Cairngorms National Park, and that was our first stop. So all we really kind of did in Perth was get a meal, go to our Airbnb, and we passed out for like 14 hours, ready to start our journey the next day. After we left Perth, we went up and spent the day at the Cairngorms National Park, which is one of my favorite places on our whole trip, if not the favorite. We did a 12-mile hike in the park at the Glen Tilt Bridge, or the Glen Tilt Trail, which is a beautiful hike. I'll show you some pictures and everything. Probably one of our favorite, if not our favorite things we did. A little bit about the Cairngorms National Park. It is the largest national park in the United Kingdom. It is ginormous. We did the hike and we drove through it. We also stopped at the Highland Folk Museum and checked that out. We got there kind of about an hour before they closed, so we kind of rushed through it, but we got a little bit of information and some pictures on that. So we'll show you those as well. The Cairngorms National Park is one of the most visited parks in the UK. Tourism makes up roughly 80% of the economy there. There is over 55 peaks, mountains over 3,000 feet tall. So you're driving through this park and you're on your left and on your right, there's mountain, and it's just beautiful. So like you're seeing these huge peaks contrasted with these, deep valleys, and you're driving through them. We walked the Glen Tilt, which is, kind of a valley off of a peak. So to the left there was mountains, and to the right there was mountains. And there was also a lot of sheep.
Holy sheep.
So that was something new to us too. The sheep just kind of walk around, they roam around, and in Scotland you have the right to roam. So these trails weren't necessarily like trails over here. The trails kind of, you might have to open a gate, and it seems like you're walking through someone's backyard or a farmer's field, and that's because you are. The right to roam says, if there's a trail or a walking path, or you're walking through someone's property, you're allowed to do that, as long as you're traveling. I think if we go back to Scotland, or when we go back to Scotland, we'll probably spend more time in this area specifically, the Cairngorms National Park. All right, we're in Scotland in the Highlands. Kenzie's sneezing. All right, Kenzie, tell us what you like about this.
You want to know what I like?
Yeah.
Hold the camera around.
I don't even know how to do that. All right, here. Give Kenzie.
I like that.
It's great.
Look at that.
Day one of our doing a 10-mile hike on day one, about halfway through. Seen a lot of cool stuff. So on day 3, we got up and we went to Culloden, which is the battle site from the 1746 Jacobite rebellion, where the English government and the Jacobites fought, and I think that kind of ended things there. We learned a lot and took a tour there, and we learned of the heavy losses on the Scottish side, and we got to walk around and read about that. And it was really kind of sad, you know. It was kind of a memorial. And I would say if you go up that way, you definitely have to stop at Culloden and get a tour. We made our way to Cawdor Castle, which is not too far from there, one of the castles that we saw, and actually the first castle we saw in Scotland. So that was really cool because it's something very new to us. First time kind of touring a castle, and we spent a lot of time there and really kind of immersed ourselves in that experience. We also, in the same day, we did a lot that day. We went to Clava Carnes, and a cairn is basically a memorial or a grave site. So this was kind of a mass grave site that actually dates back over 4,000 years. So I think that they started these cairns in 2000 BC, and they're in really good shape for how old they are. To round things off for this video, we'll tell you about our next day, which would be day 4 for our trip. We went to Loch Ness, spent the whole day there, including the Nessie Museum, which is a must-do if you go. So you can check it out and read everything. I think it was only £4 a person, so it was definitely worth it. And we took a boat tour, and we even dipped in the lake. Loch Ness is the UK's biggest loch. So it is a massive body of water. You don't really realize from pictures how long it is. It's maybe just a mile wide and 25 miles long. So we drove the whole stretch after the boat tour, and we went to Fort Augustus, which is right at the very bottom of the loch, and we took a dip. And interestingly enough, there's a lot of stuff about the loch that's very, very unique. And one thing is that it always stays around 40 degrees at the loch, winter or summer. So it is freezing. Another thing about the loch that we learned too on the boat tour was that it's very deep. They described it as like a bathtub, where the valleys come down and they go straight down and then meet at a base. So the depth there in the deepest part is about 800 feet. All right, guys, stay tuned for part 2. We'll be back next week with that. Enjoy. All right, Kenzie, what's your favorite part of the trip so far? It's all too good. It's all too good to choose from, huh?
Maybe the Loch Ness boat tour.
The Loch Ness boat tour. Not this tree house we're sitting in. That's overlooking a waterfall with 2 stone bridges in the background.
No.
No?